Fight Hub TV. Here with Coach Red. It's almost time for battle. Ceremonial weigh-in today, man. Long time in camp, long time coming. Talk to us about everything. How'd the camp go?
Camp went great. I mean, everything has been done. All the hard work is over.
Preparing for Canelo Alvarez, one of the sharpest fighters in the game, and equal to Terrence Crawford. Moving
What?
up to a higher,
What?
an equal as far as stature in the game. Both of the guys are 1A, 1B, however you want to put
Okay,
it.
you said stature, okay.
Yeah, in stature, in stature in the sport, right? In standing in the sport.
Okay, all right.
Somebody has to move ahead. What sets Terrence Crawford apart from Canelo Alvarez in your eyes, Coach? You see him every day.
Shit, a lot of things. His IQ, his will, his determination, competitiveness. You know what I mean? He refuses to lose. Like, it's just, he got a whole different edge about him. Like Kobe, Jordan, Brady. You know what I mean? He got that kind of competitive drive, and everybody don't have that. They might have some, but they ain't got it on the level that Bud got it.
You've seen Bud go from a young man to a contender, to a rising contender, to a champion, to the guy. What's remained consistent with him, aside from the hard work and the dedication, but what's remained consistent with him as a person?
Just his loyalty, his heart, his mind. Like, people don't really know the other side of him because they see a certain side that he'll give you. But just being his big brother and his friend for over 20 years, he's been loyal to our team and loyal to his family, and he has a big heart he gives. And he's very smart, business-minded. People don't even know that part about him, that he's very smart. He's a very intelligent person. And, you know, being in the sport that we in, you know, a lot of times you don't really get to see that type of side of him. But, you know what I mean, he's a very, very great individual.
A couple weeks ago, we got the word, everybody got the word across the nation. Boots Ennis was in the camp with Canelo Alvarez. I got a chance to meet with Canelo a couple nights ago, and Canelo told me that the work was beneficial, that he thought that the work that he and Boots put in together would help him to prepare for Crawford, as Boots is the quintessential switch hitter, as everybody's using the term nowadays. What do you think the Boots Ennis addition added to Canelo Alvarez, and was it something that he really needed to do?
I mean, if they felt that's what they needed to do, then that's what they felt. But, I mean, he got the best work he could possibly get. However, Terrence and Boots are two different styles. You know, they both switch. You know, Bud is one of the best switch hitters ever. You know what I mean? Between him and Marvin Hagley, best switch hitters ever. You know what I mean? That's a different type of level. So, you know what I mean? Well, he feel like it was beneficial to him, then that's what they feel. But we're not concerned about that. We're concerned about what we did in our camp.
And in your camp, we've seen Bud obviously move up in weight. But a lot of people from the camp are saying it's not really a move up, and it's just shaving it off.
Yeah.
That he's not a guy that needed to go on a Nutrisystem and be eating a lot of food and doing a whole bunch of extra things, that he was coming down anyway. It's just an earlier stop than 47. Talk to us about that. And have you noticed any strength differences in Crawford since the allowance in the new weight?
Well, we got one of the best strength and conditioning coaches in the game, Chet Fortune, and he happens to be right to my left.
Yeah.
So if you
Come
want
on, Coach.
So if you want to
Jump in.
So if you want to come talk to Chet Fortune about what he's done with the transformation of Terrence's body, then here he is right here.
Coach, you've been responsible for this transformation that everybody is going to see on Saturday night. You've seen it firsthand. You know it. You know what's happening. What are some surprises that you think are going to be in store for the world in large when they see Terrence Crawford at 168 pounds?
Terrence is a naturally gifted, naturally strong athlete. I can't take complete credit. It takes a lot of motivation and commitment and dedication. He's on another level when it comes to that stuff. He followed the program to a T, didn't complain about anything. But we've got an entire team. We've got great nutritionists, great boxing coaches, great doctors. There's a lot of elements that go into play when it comes to the programming. That's something, putting on size and power is something I've always been interested in, something that I acclimated myself to, like as an athlete myself. And he just followed the program. I mean, doesn't complain, put his head down, followed it to a T, didn't miss a step. And it makes it really easy, for my job, when you've got individuals that'll complete the program and not ask too many questions and just they believe in it, they believe in themselves, and it's going to show on Saturday night.
And is it easier, Coach, going from a guy that walks around at 47, 48, 49 to a guy that's shaving down already from 75, 77 anyway, 79? I'm just guesstimating by looking at Terrence when I see him walking around. And sometimes he looks about 180 solid. So, and that was the case on the night of the Charlo versus Canelo fight.
Sure.
Walking around, he looked about 180 pounds solid. What was the process of kind of getting him to take that down while maintaining his strength and power? And where's his strength and power today in your estimation?
We had a lot more time to focus on power and strength. When it comes to conditioning boxers, it's probably the most conditioned athletes, on the planet, and it comes to a lot of endurance-based conditioning. It's not as focused on power and strength because, you put on more muscle mass, sometimes the thought process is you lose speed and explosiveness. We put a lot of, focus on his legs and hip explosion, but at the same time, it's just a much easier cut because he doesn't have to cut so much muscle at the end of the day. It's just a focus on where you're at now. We can put in a plan that's gonna, grow the strength, make you stronger, make you last long, but at the same time, it's not such a significant cut. He's got a lot more energy at the end of the day. You cut less muscle, you got more energy, you need more food, so.
And that's what I wanted to ask you about, was the energy. Everybody, you got the most important job in the building, aside from the two fighters. You're one of the strength and conditioning coaches for 50% of the fight.
Right.
What have you guys done to ensure that there's no fading? At a new weight class, carrying the extra weight, regardless of he feels okay with it or not,
Yeah.
he has to be able to endure for the whole entire fight with the weight. What have you guys done to ensure that there'll be no drop off after, say, the 8th, 9th, 10th round?
I mean, the beauty of it is, I think a great program and a great trainer, they're analyzing their fighter at all times. So throughout the 12 weeks that we were in training camp, no matter what he was doing, if it was around the house or if it was a boxing workout or a run, I'm sitting back processing everything, and every day changes. There's not a cookie cutter program that, I can say, hey, this is what we're gonna do for the next 30 days. It's based on where we were at the previous day. And I mean, it's shown in every sparring session, every boxing session, he can go 12 rounds because we've seen him do it for the last several weeks. Keep the same tempo, the same explosiveness, the same speed and power, the same endurance throughout all 12 rounds. So, I mean, we're confident going into this fight that I know at least our fighter, and I hope Canelo too, can go all 12 rounds like it's the first round. That's the goal.
Two parts to this type of fight. We're talking about mainly right now, you and I, dishing it out.
Yeah.
The dishing it out.
Yeah.
Also, it's your responsibility to make sure that he's able to endure the shots from the larger weight class, something that we don't really talk about a whole bunch.
Sure.
What processes do you put in place for a guy moving up in weight to be absorbing big punches from one of the biggest punchers in the sport with 10-ounce gloves on, no headgear, under the lights?
This is nothing new to Terrence. I mean, Canelo is obviously a giant in the boxing game, but so is Bud, and the sparring partners that he's had in place. Steven Nelson's been a sparring partner of Bud's pretty much his entire career. Steven, if you see him when he's not prepared for a fight, he's over 200-pound guy. Naturally much larger than Canelo. 5'11". Lester Martinez is, I think, #1 in the WBO right now.
Monster.
And he's even bigger than Steven. So these elements aren't new to Terrence, and whether Canelo hits as hard as those guys, we got guys that come into camp throughout camp that just want to be a part of what we're doing that, you know, are light heavyweights or, you know, like just it's not a concern, you know, as far as the ability to be able to take some of those more powerful shots because it's something he's been doing for a long time. You know, he'll get in the ring and he'll feel it himself. And I think, you know, once he feels Canelo's power and feels confident, you're going to see the fight flip.
Expectation for fight night, Coach. Last thing for me.
I mean, the expectation's a win, you know, but I think it's going to be a show. Obviously, you know, there's a lot of excitement, you know, like Bud knows what it does for his legacy. And the last time, you know, there was that type of fight where, you know, he went 2 times undisputed against Spence. The excitement, the happiness throughout camp, the energy level, I mean, it showcased all night long, and I think it's going to showcase September 13th as well.
Excellent. Coach, where can the fight fans follow you on social media and every other platform?
So my Instagram is Strength Condition Coach on Instagram, and then Chet at CoachChet.com, CHET at CoachChet.com is my email. I've got a website, CoachChet.com as well.
Excellent. Well, there you have it. Coach Chat, Coach Red walked on about his business, the Bud Crawford campus, Hazel Fight Hub TV. Coach, thank you for your time. We'll see you soon.
No doubt.